Oh, okay.
Taz, no.
Taz, relax, baby. You can't do that, or you're gonna have to sit in the interview with me, and that's weird.
All right.
What are you gonna do now?
Well, I don't do golf. I think baseball's for dead people. And I like professional football. That's about it. So anyway, I'm having fun.
Yo, Taz! Stop. Jeff Parks, Tony Gallo.
Tony.
Very nice to see you after so many years. Obviously, as I explained to you, we wanted to come down here and just get a feel for all of Music Fest and Arts Quest, the behind the scenes stuff, and obviously you're very close to the guy that started it, being yourself. So we wanted to talk to you and get some of your input on the past, the present, and obviously we'll talk about the people that are leading us into the future.
Okay,
cool.
That's good.
All right, so
How are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm well. How are you?
So let's start with an easy one first. Favorite Banco beverage here?
Yingling always.
Yingling always. I like that. Very, very politically correct answer, and a good one. Lager, to be specific. Did you have a part in designing all the mugs, or was that a subcontracted thing?
Well, way in the beginning.
You had a part in designing all the mugs.
Yeah. We just had smaller mugs.
Right.
They were 16 ounces.
Okay.
And then we had pitchers, which really seem small today. I think they were 33 ounces, something like that. So, now a mug is 22.
Yeah, it's a big one now.
Yeah.
So then what do you believe is your favorite mug over the last 40 years? Can you pick one?
Yes, 2006, I think it was. It's a mug by John Toya. The design was by John Toya for the poster, which appears on the mug.
What is your favorite food vendor? I'll give you three choices. What's your top 3 food vendors on premises?
Well, today I'm actually stopping at food vendors and eating, but when I was working, my favorites always were Jack, Heaven on a Bun.
Heaven on a Bun.
And Leo at Carl Amers, because I could go to the back of the tent and get something to eat when the line was out to the street.
Right.
But now I'm just getting to experience Take a Taco. It's been here for a long time, and they're wonderful.
Oh, they're amazing.
So the gyros are fantastic.
Right.
I love them all.
All right, so taking it back like we did right there with the food, comparing this year's Music Fest to the first Music Fest in 1983, what would you say are the major differences between everything?
The major differences. Well, I think the major difference obviously is the scope of the whole
scope
event.
has multiplied tremendously
Between the north side and the south side.
Correct.
Obviously, the music has changed, but that was by design. We were, I think, the first festival in the country to be a multi-genre music festival, and that turned out to the beauty of the thing.
Right.
Because we can change, as long as you're playing music, or in some cases spoken word and so on, you belong at this festival. And
Correct,
so
yeah.
we have been able to change it over the years to meet what the community wants, as opposed to we're going to run a folk music festival, which was very big back in 1984.
Oh, I'm sure back then it was amazing.
Right,
yeah.
but it never became a folk music festival or a polka festival. It's a multi-genre festival, and I think that's been, I'm amazed at the breadth of all that. So that's the other big change. And I don't know, the people that I see, the thing that hasn't changed is the audience. The thing that I'm most proud of is I walk around here, there's strollers everywhere, and there's walkers too.
Everywhere.
So it's all ages. It's parents with kids. You'll see the teens on Main Street, that never changes.
Never changes.
So yeah, people are coming. This is now a total tradition in the Lehigh Valley.
Total tradition.
When it comes to this week in August, everybody knows where they're going to be. That's very exciting.
Everybody knows where they're going to be.
Yep.
And I think it's a beautiful thing also, like the draw that we get from outside markets as well. You guys have done such a great job putting this on that it's reached out so far, which is something that you can't say for a lot of these free music festivals. I believe, obviously, when you look on Google, it says this is the largest one in the nation, which we all see by working it every year for the last 40. I remember the last 20, but you remember the last 40, and I'm sure, I mean, where did, that's a good one. Where did Music Fest start? Was it just was it Festplatz right?
This was the lower. This was it. It was just Festplatz down here, and then on the other side of the creek, at historic Bethlehem Colonial Industrial Quarter.
Okay.
Was Familienplatz, and then Liederplatz was at the Sun Courtyard, which remains my favorite site.
Yep.
And then on what was then the Broad Street Mall, which is long gone,
Whoa.
was Volksplatz.
Okay.
So those were the original sites.
Awesome. So, and then did that start changing year by year? Did everything start spreading?
Yeah.
It did. It was just a year by year thing. You never took it to, you know what I mean, one big jump or.
Well, the biggest jump came in 2011 when we were able to use the Steel Stacks campus.
Oh, yeah,
And then
absolutely.
there was a jump in 2000 when we actually just started to use this site and across the street, and then it went all the way out to what was then, the plots all the way at the end of the River Place.
Well, you remember when all the concerts were straight down that road?
Yes.
I am so happy that they're moved to the north side.
You
now.
aren't the only one.
I bet you all are. That was like a logistical nightmare for everyone involved.
That was the nightmare site.
It was.
The trains.
It was such a nightmare. Yes.
The geese.
Remember the VIP was on the right side, right next to the train tracks. It was like
Yep.
we were like stuffed in a corner.
Stories galore on that place.
Yeah.
And our emergency exit was that in case the train fell off the track,
Right.
we had to walk 4 miles along the pathway on the river to get to Allentown.
That would not have been a good thing.
That was our emergency exit plan.
That would not have been a good thing.
No, it was not a good place.
Right. So now going back to when it started, when you started it, did you see it ever reaching this magnitude?
I don't want to seem,
Oh, here we go.
whatever. But
I'll pat you on the back for you.
but-
Don't worry.
But that was the goal.
That was the goal.
That was the goal.
Okay.
To become a decent-sized festival that people really wanted to come to, that showcased a lot of bands, local and out of town, and really created the kind of community that you have now. I just read an article in today's newspaper about some guy who had just come here this year and had to experience his first music fest because everybody in the community was telling him that's where everybody's going to be this week.
Right.
And it was just so fascinating to see this from a first-timer's perspective.
Right.
And he didn't get through everything because there was so much to see and absorb and do.
Incredible, yeah, there is. You have to spend a few days down here to understand the scope of it all.
That created the community, or helped to create the sense of community that we have both in Bethlehem and the Lehigh Valley. And that was the goal, to have people want to come here, live here, and stay here. Because in 1984, I graduated from high school all the way back in 1966, and my classmates who went to college, they all left Pennsylvania. They definitely left the Lehigh Valley.
Right.
Because there was nothing here for them. Steel was collapsing. It was a very difficult time.
Right.
Now this and all the other
Look at the
stuff
growth.
that's going on is, the Lehigh Valley's maybe growing too much in some people's
Oh,
lives.
it's the fastest growing area in Pennsylvania, I believe was the last stat I looked at.
And people want to be here, which is great. And
they do.
This is part of the anchor to create a community where everybody feels welcome and everybody wants to be here.
I agree with you, and I have to thank you because Arts Quest has done a great job for the Lehigh Valley, seriously, over the last 40 years. Did you reach out? I know this story. Did you reach out to Banco Beverage Company? Did you reach out to Frank to set the beer up down here?
I'm going to cry when I talk about
Tell me how
this.
this went. I've never got the story from your mouth, so I wanted to hear it from you.
Well, one of the biggest challenges when you start something brand new, first of all, they have to believe in you.
Someone's got to believe in you.
And secondly, you got to have some money, some cash.
You do have to
get
have
this going. So I had actually known Frank because way back before that I was involved in politics, which I got out of because it was a never. Anyway, I got out of that. But I had known Frank through that, and I went and talked to him and told him what we were planning on doing. And unlike most of the rest of the people I talked to who thought I was crazy, Frank responded with I get choked up every time I say this, anything for Bethlehem. That was his words, your grandfather was an orphan and was adopted and grew up here on the south side of Bethlehem. Oh, this is going to be. And anyway, he didn't live in the city at that time, but he listened to me and he said, whatever I can do for Bethlehem. And that started a relationship that lasted for 40 years.
And look at what you have done, and we've been able to help you do. Look at how much this has grown. Look at 1 million people a year coming here to see this.
Yep.
You know, and I firmly believe it could not be done without your ideas or our beer.
So I'll tell you one of the reasons I believe Music Fest became successful very quickly was the fact that people were walking down Main Street with mugs of beer in their hands, and it was like, this is Pennsylvania. You can't do that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I vividly remember Frank taking me down to Harrisburg. We had one meeting because at that time you couldn't do what we wanted to do.
No, not at all.
And lo and behold, before Music Fest, the law was changed.
Yeah.
So I can talk about that now. But you know, it took changing the law in Pennsylvania to do what we wanted to do and have a 9-day festival.
And what was that? That was like a special bill lobbied basically at your meeting.
Yes, and it wasn't me that did that. It was
Thanks, Pop
Frank
Becca. We all thank you. But it's incredible that something like this that you thought of to bring the community together ushered in new laws, brought in new demographics and markets to this area, probably caused people to move here.
Definitely.
And look at how many, and look, we just got done interviewing a 40-year volunteer.
Yep.
If this was not a good festival, if you were not good people, there would be no 40-year volunteers.
That's right.
That's what it's about, bringing this community together, bringing everyone together, and seeing all the smiles on everyone's faces. You know, I love that people come out here with the sun beaming, 90% humidity, 90 degrees outside, 1 million people walking around. It's a true testament to what you've done here, honestly.
And this is the volunteers are the other secret ingredient.
They are.
Certainly make the festival.
Right, and that's why we had to get them. That's why because no one hears their story.
Yep.
No one understands how much work they do every year.
It's an incredible amount.
It's really an incredible amount, and I've closed things down here and everything, and I see all the volunteers going home at night. You don't even realize how many there are. It's incredible to see this many people trying to put into the community.
The very first year, this was a total do-it-yourself event.
Oh, right, yeah, I'm sure it was rolling the dice the whole time.
Okay, guys, you got to serve beer, sell tickets, collect tickets.
Wait, where do we put the tickets?
Clean up? Yeah, it was just free for all.
Put them in a cardboard box in a beer truck, I don't know.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it all worked out. So they really ran the festival.
They did. Speaking of running the festival, how did Cassie become your successor? Who I love to death, by the way.
Well, Cassie I was working with her because she was at Air Products.
Right.
And she had some activity related to the festival in her job description.
Right.
And I was totally impressed with her in terms of her. She's very good at having a discussion. You know where you stand. She's very community oriented. Loves the Lehigh Valley.
Her delivery is amazing.
Yes.
Her delivery is absolutely amazing. She's an incredible person.
So I watched her for actually a couple of years, then we went out to lunch.
Asked her if she'd be down?
Well, I asked her to come on board to be the sponsorship person, basically, at the time. And she was in that position for about, I think, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it was a little bit, yeah.
Before I told her I'm retiring and
you're the one.
Do it.
And she just, yes, sir. I'll tell you what, Jeff, honestly, I don't think you could have picked a better person, to be honest with you.
That's always good to hear.
She is one of the most solid people I have ever come into contact in my life, and I love our partnership that we have with them, honestly. We miss you, but we love her.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy to be missed.
You're funny. I believe... So, speaking on Cassie still, now that she's running things, do you find a great relief in being able to sit back and watch, or do you still sometimes want to...
Oh God, no. Oh no.
You're done.
No.
Good for you.
You know what?
It's hard to walk away from your baby like that. So good for you.
I've handled transitions on several nonprofit boards that I've been on.
Good.
And I think the biggest thing, particularly a founder, can do is hang around and give their advice every day.
Yes.
Or even every week.
Yes.
I mean, it's
consultation is the best thing you can do.
Cassie and I have lunch every couple months.
Good.
That's about it.
I love that though.
She's in charge, and I didn't need people coming to me or other board members or whatever. How to make it clear, she's the
Cassie,
one.
I hope you're paying for those lunches.
She does sometimes.
Well, Jeff, I think we covered all the bases that we wanted to from you.
Awesome.
I want to thank you for taking your time out. I know you're a busy man.
Now, while we're talking about things, though, I remember Tony. I remember little Tony. So what happened to him?
Tony's been in the beer business a while. He's grown up, and now I'm trying to, be the guy that helps everyone move forward.
Well, much success to you.
Thank you, brother.
Look,
I
my best to
appreciate
your
you.
mother.
And it's great to see you again.
Good to
I'll
see
tell her
you.
you said hello.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. Little gift
Oh,
we brought
right.
for you.
I didn't have a hat today.
Little
Thank
Banco
you.
gift. Not a lot of people have those, so we want to make sure you got one.
Thank you so much. Let me see. My head's usually too big. I can think I see
Boom.
one. There you go.
Thank you again, sir. I appreciate you.
I gotta pet this dog.
Oh, absolutely. Tess, say hi.
He is absolutely. He knows who his buddy is.
Oh,
right?
you baby.